Dave Morris. Welcome to The Play. It's Thursday, June 13th, and coming up in today's edition of The Play, we're learning more about the victims of the May 31st floods, and a group helps a triple amputee and veteran get back on the road. But first, a Red River dispute resolved. We learned today the U.S. Supreme Court has sided with Oklahoma in a water rights case. The High Court says a Texas state agency has no right to take water from the Kiamichi River without the consent from Oklahoma. The court was asked to interpret a 33-year-old water compact among 4 states. Earlier today, we spoke with our man in Washington, Chris Castile, via Skype about the case.
Whenever there's an excess flow from the Kiamichi River, it apportions the water equally to the 4 states. But it doesn't say whether Texas can come into Oklahoma and get its share. It's just silent on that. So what the Texas agency claimed was, well, because it's silent, it does give us 25% of that water. We can just go get it. We don't have to have Oklahoma's permission. So what the court said today was, that's not how these compacts generally are. States have a sovereign right to, their resources, and if they were going to allow for another state to just come in, and if they were going to allow for a state to come in and take water from within their borders, this would all be spelled out.
And that was my interview with Chris Castile via Skype in Washington earlier today. You can find that full video online at newsok.com, and of course, read more about the case in Thursday's edition, in Friday's edition of the Oklahoman. All right, joining me now with more stories and headlines coming up in tomorrow's paper, Rick Green from the Oklahoman's newsroom. Thanks so much for your time. We're learning more about some of the victims from the May 31st flooding.
That's right. Yesterday, the 22nd person out of 23 who died in the tornado, his body, the child's body was recovered from the Oklahoma River. And so there's still one more person whose body needs to be recovered from the river. This child was part of a group of people who went into a long drainage tunnel to seek shelter from the tornado, only to get caught in a flash flood. It's a 1/4 mile long tunnel near the Dell plant. And ironically, they left the relative safety of their apartment to go into this tunnel out of fear that they had to get underground, and a number of people in their party lost their lives.
Wow, that's a tragic story. The Oklahoman's Nolan Clay is writing that. Another story to tell you about, it's by Robert Medley. Kind of a bad story turned good, I guess.
Well, this is a story out of Edmond, and a soldier who's a triple amputee recently suffered a loss regarding his vehicle. He had a specialized SUV purchased at a cost of $60,000 through a Wounded Warriors program. Well, here just recently somebody stole the tires and the wheels off of that vehicle. Again, through the good nature of the community, he's coming out okay because a neighbor who has asked to remain anonymous has agreed to pay for new tires and wheels.
It makes you feel okay when you hear stories like that there are still good people in the world, and this soldier was a veteran of the Afghanistan effort. Rick, thanks so much for your time today. We'll look forward to reading those stories in tomorrow's editions of the Oklahoman and online at newsok.com. Have a great evening, everybody.